Hello, hello, hello. It's Suzi. Welcome to Women, Words and Wine. Once again, it's Wednesday night and here we are. Hope you've had a great day. I have had kind of day. Some bits have been really good. I had like some really good meetings, a great webinar, and then other things I've just felt like I was the dog chasing its tail all day. So let me know how you've been. If you're here, you've just arrived, let me know. As always, I'll be looking in the comments and looking to say hello and acknowledge you. Thank you for being here. I had someone message earlier to say she was very excited about our guest. Her name is Lisa Tupua, and she said, "Oh my God, love Valerie, awesome." So I don't know you, Lisa, but thank you so much for your comments, and look forward to having you here today and having you enjoy our guest when I bring her on, which is going to be in just a moment. I hope you've got a glass of something nice, whether that's a cup of tea, whether it's beer, whether it's a wine, whether it's a gin. Our friend Tina Tower, who was on just a couple of weeks ago, said she was having Moscow mules. So she's going to be right and ready for today's session. So if you, there she is. Hey, Tina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're enjoying those cocktails, and thank you for being here. So, and Lisa says she finally made it. Yeah, this is about week 4 or 5. I can't remember. So very excited to have you all here. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest. If you don't know her, then you are in for such a treat. And if you do know her, you're in for a treat. She is the CEO of the Australian Writers Centre, which is the country's leading centre for writing courses, many of which are available online. And I know right now there are a lot of women and men who are taking up the opportunity to do some writing. I know a lot of our members have taken part in Valerie's courses. I have attended a couple of her courses as well and can highly recommend them. She's also an artist, and I am waiting till the end of this month when a couple of the pieces that I have purchased of her artwork get delivered to my home so that I can have them up on my walls and be able to enjoy their beauty. The other thing is she's a podcaster. She has a membership. She's an author. She's curated the Sydney Lunar Festival for the last 2 years. She's also the reason for these curls, and I have to explain. She introduced me to the Dyson Airwrap. I think it's called the Dyson Airwrap, which is this amazing contraption that has had my hair go from crazy curly to a little more subdued kind of curly. And so for that, I am forever grateful. She's a whole lot of fun. She's a mentor at our Reach Retreat in Hawaii. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm going to bring her on now. Hello, hello.
Hello. So great to be here. I love your curls.
Thank you. Thank you. It's, on any given day, it can look like anything, but it's not bad today. This is Felicity. Felicity is saying, she's having Matzo's Broom Ginger Beer, 38.5 degrees in Broome today. What?
Wow.
In Broome, how amazing. Hi, Aparna. Aparna's one of our members. She's in the finance industry. I am drinking a cheapie. PJ pulled it out of it was one of those buy a case of something, and PJ said, "I don't tell people what it is. It's a real cheapie," but I don't care. It is called a Palazzo. I guess it's like Palazzo, but it's Palazzo, and it's a Pinot Grigio, which I would never have drunk if it were not for you, Valerie Khoo. You introduced me to Pinot Grigios. What are you having?
I'm actually not having Pinot Grigio today because I like it so much I ran out. And so we've got a Yarra Valley, some kind of red wine. I'm not sure what.
Yarra Valley, some kind of red wine. Thank you, Yarra Valley. Hello, Anna. Great to have you here. Hey, Anna, it's been really great to see you show up. I know you're part of our membership, but I haven't seen your name in a little while. In the last week or so, I think I've seen it a couple of times, and I love that you're here. Welcome, welcome. And Liz is saying from Naked Wines. Yeah, that's probably where that is, from Naked Wines, that cheapo but very nice Pinot Grigio. So let us know what you're drinking. We are going to get on with the show. We have for you some light relief. We have some smart business tips and tricks. And we have a little bit of inspiration to finish off the evening. And as always, this is part of your experience as well. We want your comments. We want your feedback. We want your questions. We want your participation. Thank you all for saying hello, hello. Hey to Kerry. Hey to Linda. Now, Linda's a florist, and she's got a store in regional Victoria. And I know that often when we do things during the day, Linda can't be here. So I'm so excited that she's here tonight. Obviously, the store is closed. And you've got Mother's Day coming up. I hope you are promoting, because now is your time. So for our light relief, I'm going to ask our guest, Val, to go ahead and kick us off. So tell us a little bit about your choice. I'm going to put up a photo here. People may have no idea what this is. But tell us.
Someone with a lot of time on their hands, or someone who is making the most out of this time of isolation and quarantine, has taken their guinea pig and created an art gallery in their own home. As you can see from the picture, they've got little drawings, which they've got little, cardboard frames over, and even a little explanation that they've stuck around the skirting board of their home. And there's heaps of photos of this guinea pig basically looking at these images as if they're in the Met Museum, or as if they're in the Guggenheim or whatever. And sometimes the guinea pig is, looking quite pensive or quite thoughtful. And sometimes the guinea pig is just, staring at the artwork.
The guinea pig look thoughtful.
Well, this guinea pig manages to look thoughtful as he's contemplating the artistic, meaning behind the painting. And so I just thought this was adorable, because this person is just doing this for fun. They're just doing it, in their own home. They are expressing themselves creatively. They've just had an idea that they thought was interesting or funny, and they've pursued it. Now, I particularly love this idea because this concept that you can have an idea that you think is interesting. It might not make you money in a direct way, because, I don't think she's making money out of her guinea pig paying to see this little art museum. But you might not think it's making you money in some kind of direct way. But if it's something that's piqued your interest, I talk about the importance of following your creative curiosity a lot. And because I actually ultimately think it does make you money down the track. So I don't know where the guinea pig's going to end up, right? But I love this little, story, because I encourage people, for anything that piques your interest, whether that is, cooking something in particular, or doing a particular course that you think, but it's not directly related to my business. I should enroll in a course on Facebook advertising, or I should enroll in a course on how to write my business plan, or something like that. Which does have a direct impact. Some of the things that may not have a direct impact, if it's somehow nudging you in some way, or you just think it'd be fun or interesting to do, I encourage you to do it, because ultimately the synapses in your brain will somehow connect it to a way that you can apply it to your business and make money. And that's certainly been my experience in the past. Some people who follow me on social media will be familiar with my cat, who I did not bring with me to Wine and Words. But when I first got my cat, I started putting photos up of him. I went crazy with my love for my cat. He made videos. He started a blog, all of this sort of thing. But through that thing that I was doing purely for interest and not for money at all, I discovered all of these tools and apps, which ultimately fed into making my business create a whole heap of online courses. And I would never have discovered any of those tools and apps if it wasn't for this little project with my cat. So that's why I love this little story.
I love that. And it's just so cute, the photos of the guinea pig. I've put the link in here for people to share. People are sharing with me what drinks they're having. Yes, me too, completely true. It says Fitzroy Flasher, who you will know as Amanda, right? And of course, Amanda and her partner were at Reach Retreat last year, and so it's so great to have you here. Mickey, I see you're there as well. A stable of mine at the moment. I'm not sure exactly what that was related to people thanking each other for introducing each other to Naked Wine. And just with what you're saying, I've heard you say these words for a little while now about this, taking this thread of curiosity and following it through without having an agenda and without every podcast we listen to having to be a business podcast, or having every book we read having to be a business book. And I hear you, and I notice that I still tend to verge on that. But in the creation of this show here, it was just this thread of, I like wine, I like talking to my friends, I love sharing time with smart women. It's a Wednesday night, it's not a business time of night, and this is one of the most fun things that I'm doing at the moment. And getting really great response. And I don't know if it's going to lead to dollars in the bank, and really it doesn't matter to me. And what matters is that I'm having a good time and I'm exploring some things, and it's just, yeah.
But it is what PJ talks about a lot. It is one of the dots. And 6 months from now, you're going to connect all of the dots to something that's an actual picture of something really whole. And that's why I encourage everyone to do this.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. Great to see you here, Liz. People are saying hi. There's another person from Broome. Oh, good Broome representation here today. Let me know where you're from. I'm recognizing some of the names, and I know we've got quite a few people from Victoria. And so, yeah, do let us know where you're joining us from. Oh, and Litza says, agree completely. That's where my posting came from. So Litza is one of our members. She has a business called Brand Divine. And over the last 30 days inside of Her Business Network members group, every day for 30 days, she was posting something about her life. It could have been a photo that she found of herself on a trip 30 years ago. It might have been, a book that was hidden in the corner that she once loved. And it was this self-exploration that was just so beautiful, delightful to read every single day, Litza. And I just felt it was such a gift to me to have you going down this path. And I love that it was powerful for you too. And yeah, who knows where it's going to go. But I appreciate having been a part of that process with you. What is Mickey saying? These nights are the bomb, and I look forward to them each week. Oh, thank you. We've got people in Victoria, Sydney. So compelling to read, Litza. I want you to see this. Anna says, well done. Yeah, great. And we've got people from the Shire and all over.
Yay, the Shire.
Yeah, Shire. Valerie grew up in the Shire. She doesn't live in the Shire anymore. I'll have to out her on that. But she still have family in the Shire?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So a couple of my silly things that made me laugh. This one here, I am pleased to say I am not participating in this way of thinking, but I thought it was interesting. This is I need to social distance myself from the refrigerator so I can flatten my curve. One of the reasons I'm going into the office every single day is to be away from the refrigerator and to have some sort of normal routine. So for the last 2 days, it was just me and PJ in the office. Today, Robin was with us. Tomorrow there'll be 4 of us, and half the team is working from home. But for me, that is part of flattening my curve. But I find I am being pretty diligent, putting my jeans on, making sure they can still fit, and all that sort of thing, because I don't want to be one of the statistics. But that said, a friend's mum posted this. She said, ladies, let's make a pact. Weeks, months from now, when we see each other's post-quarantine bodies, let's just ask, have you lost weight? No matter what. I thought that was hilarious. And that is the beautiful Stella Broughton, who is the mother of a friend of ours, Amy Lydon. And Amy's a member. And her mum always has the best social media posts, and that was one of them. And then, of course, we have to have a wine one, right? We have to have a wine-related one, and it was this one. Are you drinking more in quarantine? But the check mark is way up. No, we don't know what that person meant to say. So if you're coming across some fun things that you're really enjoying, things that are making you laugh, you know what? Tag me, because we'll have them here on the show, and I'll be sure to acknowledge you. So Liz says she is in Dungog, Hunter Valley. How nice, but drinking a Barossa wine. Jennifer Lim is joining us. Thank you. Jacinta says Shire, God's country. Love driving. driving through Royal National Park. I have not had much to drink. That is not to do with alcohol. You both look like you've lost weight and toned up. I have actually. I know. Don't hate me. I've lost weight and I have toned up. You know why? Because I have been consistent. Because sometimes when I have to go from the office to the gym, I go most of the time, but now and then I'm get busy and it's like I don't go. But right now I'm working out from home, and somehow that's made me more consistent. The other thing is I usually travel at least once a month. I'm off somewhere. And as you know, Valerie, I'm off to Canada or Austin or wherever, but I've been home since January. And so for me, consistent training for this many weeks pays off, and the payoff is a little bit of lost weight, but it's more than that. It's more, I'm just more toned up. So thanks for noticing. I'll just put that one up again once more. There we go. All righty. We promised you some practical tips, and Amanda McLean. Woo, woo, woo. Amanda's one of our regulars watching here. Great to have you here. So I always ask my guests, would you like to give us some practical tips that people can use inside of their business? And you've got a slew of things, so I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, the first two are kind of related. So my first practical tip is about how to write or, portray an effective customer story that converts your prospects. So if your prospects come and they read about one of your customers, you want them to buy from you, right? And hopefully that customer story is the thing that pushes them over the edge, because it's always great to have, all of your features and benefits and all of the things that you offer in a good list. But sometimes it's your customer story where the prospect can see your work in action that's going to tilt them over the edge. And we've certainly had people who've said that they've watched all of our videos and that's the thing that's tipped them over the edge, or they've heard from other people their stories about working with us or doing courses with us, and that's what's convinced them to sign up. So particularly in this time, some of you may be run off your feet, some of you may have some more time on your hands because you don't need to commute or have fewer things on. So this is potentially a time to put some infrastructure in place that this can easily be rolled out at any time, even after all of this blows over. So a customer story can be just in a social media post, or it can be in a longer blog post, or it can be in a video. It doesn't matter what the format is, whatever suits you and your market. But the structure of the customer story is what's important. Now, it's so easy, and I call it the biggest loser approach to writing a customer story, because for those of you who may have once watched The Biggest Loser when it was on, and you may remember, I don't know if you do, but the single most highest rated episode on The Biggest Loser is the finale. And the finale is where you see the before and after, right? You see what it was like before they went on The Biggest Loser. You looked, they had a montage of all the training that they did and all the nutrition that they did. And then they had after, them in a beautiful outfit, walking down the catwalk looking amazing and toned and having lost weight. So it's very, very simple. And it's a matter of just following that structure. So if somebody works with you or, buys your product or service, always start with something along the lines of, this was what it was like before working with Sally. Yeah. So it might be, before working with Fiona, I used to stand at my wardrobe every morning and not know what to wear and not have confidence necessarily that what I put on was going to wow people at the function that I was speaking at, or something like that. Then you talk about the during, which is how I worked with Fiona. So when I worked with Fiona, we did whatever, Fiona's 5-step system, I don't know, whatever it is that your customer did with you. For me, they've taken a course with me and it might have gone over 5 weeks or a weekend or whatever. Then you do the after. After doing the course or after doing the session with Fiona, I was then able to whatever. In my case, people would say I'm a published author, I've hit the New York Times bestseller lists, I've written my book, whatever. If it was Fiona, who, if you haven't gathered by now, is a stylist, you might say, after working with Fiona, I now have a wardrobe which is completely sorted. It takes me 1 second to pick an outfit each day, and when I go on stage at my next speaking event, I'm confident that I'm on brand and that I'm representing, what my business is about. So it's just 3 parts: before working with you, during, what they did with you and why, and after. Yeah. So that people can see the journey of a customer, and your prospect can identify, not only can they identify, that's someone just like me, they can also see that's what's ahead of them, that there's a structure and that there's an end result. So it's very, very easy and it's straightforward. Now that leads into my second practical tip, which is my new best friend. And I suggest that you can use something like this when you are collecting your customer stories, right? So it's called Otter. Some of you may already use it. Now, I signed up for Otter. It's otter.ai. I signed up for it a year ago or whatever, and it was fine, but it's AI, right? So it uses artificial intelligence to transcribe phone calls, videos, Zoom meetings, Facebook Lives, anything, right? So a year ago it was fine, but it's still, AI hadn't come as far as it has now. And I am now obsessed with it because the technology has progressed to the extent where it is very effective. It's still not 100% accurate, but nothing is, not even humans. But it is very, very, very good compared to even humans.
A little bit more of an idea of what it does. Tina's saying,
Yeah.
I use Otter every week for our podcast transcriptions and Zoom meetings. Tell us a little bit about what it does.
So it is an app. You can use it in browser, or you can use it on your phone or iPad or whatever, and you can literally, at a basic level, you can dictate into it. Yeah. But also you can record a Zoom meeting and get it transcribed like that. And there's a free version and a paid version, but even the paid version, it's like $9 a month or something ridiculously affordable.
You use it instead of Rev?
Yes, that's right. And it happens in minutes.
Right. Okay. So because it's automatic transcription, not
exactly. And it's shocking how accurate it is. Okay. So if you have a podcast, as Tina has, you can get the transcription through Otter. But if you are having a Zoom call, let's say we were on a Zoom call, you can also have live transcription, like while the Zoom call is happening. Yeah. But you can, I don't necessarily use it for that. I do it after the fact. So you might have a video. I just uploaded a bunch of videos and it spat out the transcription. So yeah, it's an excellent tool. You can also, if you're on your phone and you're at a event, it can be recording and transcribing, and then you can go, oh, they put a nice slide on the screen, I'm going to take a photo, click, and it'll insert it at that point where at that point of the transcription as well. Mickey has asked what's the security like for Otter, and I'm not sure, but I'm not discussing any state secrets, so I don't mind.
That's right. Yeah, well, Mickey's work probably has, because she works with courts and things, there might be some things there. So that'll be worth checking that out.
Yeah, there's probably articles online about that. But so my point with that is that sometimes it's painful, or not painful, time consuming, and therefore you put a block in front of yourself to get your customer story. But a friend of mine, she lined up, I think, 12 the other day, or maybe she did 6 in one day, 6 in another day. And she talked to people and just asked them questions for 10 minutes. She set herself a time limit of 10 minutes. You could probably even do it for less. And then now she's uploaded them all to Otter. And she has essentially the customer stories. And the way she's asked her questions, she structured them in the Biggest Loser approach, like I just talked about. So her series of questions led people on that journey of telling the story in that kind of way.
Okay, I'm very excited. I've heard the name, but I really didn't know what it was. And so I'm definitely going to check it out. We spend a lot of money on Rev. We use both their automated transcription and their manual transcription services. So this is really interesting, but it sounds like it does a whole lot more. Rosie's saying, I've never used anything like that. Yeah, so really worth checking out. I put the URL here in the chat. So, but it's otter.ai. Otter.ai. I love that. And the way that you're using it with customer stories. I also want to hark back to how simple you made it, Valerie, just to say what happened before, how was life before I worked with you, how was life, what did we do together, and then what was the result. And thank you for using Fiona. And of course, The Fiona that Valerie was using that you didn't even mention is the wonderful Fiona Keary of Style Liberation, who is one of our members, and I know some of the women here know her. So Sonia says it's so easy to use, just download it and press the record button. Is that right? How I actually pride myself on actually knowing about these tools. So what? How did you get
I will
on it?
send you a loom, Susie. I've already made one actually because I've just gone.
Oh,
You know,
a loom on how to use it.
Yeah, it's so easy, and you just drag and drop your
Loom,
MP3.
yeah,
You just drag and drop your MP3 into, Otter, which is just in the browser, and then it
right.
spits out your transcription like that. And I'm really particular with transcription because being a former journalist, the accuracy is so important, and it just
Yes.
wasn't there yet when I first joined Otter about a year ago. But it's improved a lot.
Okay. I love that you said that it's actually improved and that they've made those updates because it is AI, as you said. A couple of comments here. Amanda says, our smartphones have amazing voice to text technology. Future is exciting. Yeah, I love tech too. Helen said it would be helpful using it on Zoom to take client notes. Well, I'm going to look into this. Thank you for the great tip. Yeah, thank you for the great tip. That's very, very cool.
You can use it for that. Yep.
And Jacinta says, this is the best thing I've learned today. and Lynn only found Loom 2 days ago. Well, we use Loom all the time. We use it to do, well, I do customer reviews, hot seats and things like that. But I also use it for training videos. And I notice now there is an iPhone app because usually it's on your computer. But that came out today, I think. There's an iPhone version for it. The improvements are amazing. Loom Zoom, Loom Zoom, and Otter. What else do you need? I know, don't you love these companies that have these short words that are kind of a bit? How about Zoom? Zoom is now like Hoover. It's like the word you use online. I'm so happy for them. As business owners, I can always appreciate when another business just goes Zoom.
Yes.
Zooms into the stratosphere. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, very good. So, did you have one more practical tip?
Oh, yes. So it's unrelated to the first two, but while Mickey may have said that we look a bit toned and lost weight, and that might be the case with you, I'm not as motivated as Susie. I'm sure you will all agree that Susie is one of the most motivated people when it comes to working out and health and fitness. Now, I need that extra push. And prior to quarantine, I had a PT, and that was my structure because I had to meet him and I had to, but anyway, that went out the window because we had to stop all of these things. And while Susie is motivated enough to clear out her garage and work out and all that kind of stuff, I'm less motivated. So I was finding it quite difficult to get myself, going for walks and going running and stuff like that. So here's my hack. All you need one thing. All you need is one of these, right? A kettlebell, because after you've done a particularly difficult project or spreadsheet, reward yourself with 10 of these, and then after you've done, you've interviewed your client and done on it, do some swings with your hips, so you don't even have to move away from your desk. You just need this one piece of equipment, and it can actually do 20 different things. So there you go. That's
Absolutely. Well, I absolutely love it, and you're absolutely right. So one of the things our gym did is, because they closed down, is they said you can take a piece of equipment, but one piece per person, take whatever you want. And a bunch of people took a kettlebell. But the thing is, you can do so much with a kettlebell.
So much.
And you're absolutely right. You can use it for your upper body. You can use it to do deadlifts. You can use it to do swings. You're using your whole core. And so in the beginning, that's what we did, because we had ordered some gym equipment and it didn't arrive. So we had a couple of kettlebells, and that's what we were doing. But you're absolutely right. And it's some of that incidental stuff. It's like, I've just finished a project. I'm taking a 10-minute break. I'm going to do 10 shoulder to overhead, or I'm going to do 10 suitcase deadlifts, or whatever I'm going to do. We've amassed a few different things in our garage, but really it doesn't take much. It just takes the consistency and the commitment. And for me, really, if you knew me 15 years ago, you would know that I didn't exercise. Like, from the moment I left school and stopped doing sport at school, which I loved, I did nothing till I was close to 40. And that I did my first half marathon when I was 41, I think. But I have since developed a habit of exercise, and I actually miss it when I don't do it. And I really don't know how I would feel if I wasn't exercising a few days a week. But for me, so my practical tip is just around creating rituals like that. So at the end of, every 50 minutes, I'm going to set the alarm and give myself a 10-minute break. I'm going to do, this many push-ups on the bench, or on the bathroom counter, or I'm going to do 10 of these. And it's just about having that consistency. One of the rituals that I've fallen into is that I get up. I think I might have mentioned this before, but listen up as if you've never heard it before. So I will get up in the morning, I will make myself a coffee, I will head on over to our dining table, and I will start to journal. And I will use a process that I know that you're very familiar with, of morning pages, and I will write. And I'll write and I will empty my head. And, and sometimes most days it makes absolutely no sense to anyone but me, but it gets kind of stuff out of my head. And sometimes there's emotion attached to it. Sometimes it's just dribble, but it's out. I will also pick a card. So I subscribe to, give me her name. Gabby Bernstein. Thank you, PJ, as he's walking past. Gabby Bernstein. Got a deck of cards called Spirit Junkie. And every day it's just like a little mantra or a little saying, and I'll look at it while I'm writing, and then if it speaks to me, then I'll write something about it. At the end of the day, when I come home, we generally have dinner and we'll watch a little bit of TV. And I can't do super violent. I can't do mostly scary. So I want something light and sort of something that is not going to totally have me freaking out in bed. I don't like violence. I don't like blood. I don't like guts. And a few times a week, and 3 times a week, so not overly, I'm working out in the evenings. But this is just a routine. As someone who loves adventure, I love travel. I'm a Sagittarius. I like to try new things. Routine is kind of my practical tip. It's finding things that work for you over and over again. And one of the things that we've been doing on weekends is taking long walks, avoiding the crowds, but just walking for an hour, 2 hours, just to get some sun on our face and to just be outdoors. Now, in New South Wales, the laws have loosened up a little bit this week. And as of now, 2 people can visit other people. And, so it's all changing. And I imagine in a few weeks, it's going to be a little different. But for me, the routine of a Saturday walk or a Sunday walk has become one of the most pleasurable things for me, because we're exploring different parts of Sydney. PJ and I, as Valerie knows, we live in the city, and so we have a lot of things accessible to us. And so if I walk for 25 minutes, I'm at Harbour Bridge, and that is a glorious view every single time. I cannot get enough of that sort of view. And so for me, my tip is find what your ritual is. And whether your ritual leads to you flattening the curve of your belly or whether it doesn't really matter. It's really about finding a routine that gives you joy. And for me, when I'm out walking with PJ and we're just like soaking up the sights, and the sights might be the back streets of Surrey Hills, a neighbouring suburb, or it could be the Harbour Bridge. It's just that ritual of doing something that feeds our soul. Valerie earlier was talking about taking that class that is a little bit off the wall, that isn't the next, do your business plan, generate more leads. It's just that little bit of curiosity that you're following that thread of. So for me, it's like just trying some of those things. One of the things I've been trying, Val, which I can't tell you how it's working out exactly, is a stretch class on Sunday morning. So my gym is doing these stretch classes. Now, I am the least stretchy, bendy person in the world. I actually lay down a challenge to anyone to tell me they are less bendy than I am. I wasn't always, but I think it's just from sitting in a chair, at a desk all day. And so Sunday mornings I'm doing these classes, and I am so pathetic, but I'm just doing it. It's an hour. I can see no progress from week to week. But I'm just going to do them because it's just part of my routine right now to say incremental improvements. It's about building habits. And that's what that routine is. It's just building habits into our lives that support us, that are moving us closer to our goal. And Helen says, I feel really out of balance when I don't follow my daily routine. Yeah, those things that are predictable, whether it's your morning cup of joe or whether it's the walk in the afternoon or if it's that weekly call with a girlfriend, whatever it is. Felicity's just downloaded the Otter app. She's like the tip. And Liz says, I draw a card for me and our group every Monday for the Shamans Oracles. Great deck of cards. Great. I don't know what that means, Lena. WLMHOF, cold showers. After 1 year of doing it daily, I still resist. You do cold showers? Some friends of mine do cold showers. I don't want to do cold showers. Would you ever do cold showers?
No.
No.
That's just a no, a hard no.
It's just a no. Hello, Amanda Farmer. Hello, gorgeous Amanda Farmer. She says the lack of regular movement from just heading out into the world is definitely making me less stretchy too. Yeah, absolutely. You need yoga. Yeah, Helen, I'm going to address this right now. So I have done yoga in the past. I did yoga to the point where I had jammed this hand so badly from too many dogs and doing advanced classes. And I stopped doing it. And I loved it when I did it. But because I do CrossFit 3 days a week and I run on the weekend and I might do a walk, I feel like adding yoga is just tipping me over the edge. It's no longer fun. Now it feels too hard. And that's why I haven't done it. But I do love it. So something would have to give. Something would have to give, the stretch class or the walk, because otherwise I feel like then it becomes work, if that makes sense. And Felicity says, you would do cold showers at 38.5 degrees. Yeah, I would love to have 38.5 degrees. Well, no, that's a bit hot. All right, there's some people saying hello. Habits and routines are essential. You're all awesome. All righty. What else have we got here? Ritual is feeding 20 horses today. Says, Lynn, where are you? Where are you that you're feeding 20 horses? How gorgeous to be around those animals. I'm a Sagittarius, as I said. I don't know why I've said that twice today. I'm a Sagittarius, which is a horse. I'm also born in the year of the horse, Valerie Khoo. Who knows? Chinese. It's not called astrology. Zodiac.
Yeah.
Chinese. So, born in the year of the horse. And all those fun things. All righty, what have we got? I'm drinking 5 out of 7 days. Is that exercise?
You're consistent.
Yeah, consistency is key. You're going to be a master at this, Michelle. That is so awesome. All right. So before we move on, couple of things that we like to leave you with. Firstly, if you've got any questions on anything that Valerie said or that I said, please go ahead and post them. There's a couple of things that have inspired me in the last week, and I know there's something that Val wanted to also talk about. I'll start with one of mine. I was walking back from one of our long walks. We'd been down to the Opera House and back, and not and back, I mustn't lie. We walked to the Opera House and then we got the light rail, which just recently started the last couple of months in Sydney, back to Central, and then we were walking back. And we walked past a little bar called Gin Lane, which is in our neighbourhood, and normally it's hopping. And, of course, there was nobody in sight. The whole street, Kensington Street, there was no one there. There was a little sign and it said, takeaway cocktails. And PJ and I thought, oh, isn't that sweet? That's great. Good on them having a go. And we walked right past it because we're walking and it's about 4 p.m. And we walked about 50 meters and went, oh, let's go get a cocktail. So we walked back and there was a young guy sitting there with his little, notebook to take our order. And so we ordered 2 different gin cocktails. They told us which gin they chose for us and who the distillery was and had the whole story, which I love. I love when someone can tell a story around their product or service. And then his mate, who was the only other person in sight, made our cocktails, put them in these 2 takeaway cups, and PJ and I walked the rest of the way home drinking our gin and feeling just so inspired that these entrepreneurs hadn't shut the doors. They thought, crack. And I said to them, well, how's it going? And they said, sometimes people, they'll call us and they'll order and they'll come pick it up. Now, they can't be making a lot of money, but they're still having a go. They're still having a go. And there's a local restaurant in a neighbouring suburb who have been closed. Ever since they kind of had the lockdown, they've been closed. And Friday afternoon, they sent an email out at around 4:30 in the afternoon, and they were offering fresh pasta dishes, fresh sides, salads, and they were also selling packeted pasta, wines, and a bunch of other. They had these 4 different packs. So I rang them straight away and I said, look, is it too late to order for dinner tonight? They went, no, absolutely not. And so we ordered a selection of things. We picked it up straight after work, and they were so grateful for the order. But I was just so happy to be able to participate in their access and be able to have, firstly, they do really great pasta and it was a really good meal. And so I'm just really loving supporting small businesses who are showing some initiative. And I mean, that's what we do in our business. The people that really thrive in our network are the people who show some initiative, who are, who are playing the game. And so for me, that is inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's so important at this time because I think that you're either in a situation of where you're able to pivot, and if you can, and it might be a big pivot or it might be just a small pivot, and if you are able to be in a position to pivot, I highly encourage that you be proactive about it and be proactive about it rapidly. One of the businesses near the Australian Writers Centre is the Curability Club. It's actually an RSL, but it operates quite independently, and it's a fairly modern, nice RSL, and it's usually got people in there for functions because it's a great function space overlooking the harbour, and cafe, restaurant, the usual RSL type things and activities, but they can't hold anything, so they cleverly have pivoted to deliver care packs. So when the great toilet paper shortage occurred in Australia.
The great toilet paper shortage of 2020.
Yes, and it was around Easter as well. So you could order a care pack of hot cross buns, chocolates, blah, blah, and toilet paper. And then you could also then order a pack, and they would deliver free in the local area of essentials like flour and eggs and milk and, toilet paper. And now they've got a Mother's Day special, which you don't go there, but you can get this package delivered as well. So they're thinking outside the box, and I love seeing that as well, because what I think is not good for businesses or people generally, but we're talking businesses, is I know a bunch of I know quite a few freelance travel writers, so they're running their own business effectively, and some of them, sure, they're always traveling. You can't travel now. They can't earn income from travel writing. So there's a handful of them that are pivoting, and okay, they can't write about travel, but they're going to write about the arts, or they're going to write about something else that's of interest to them that's not to travel, because writing is writing, right? But then there's a whole lot of them who are just going to wait till it blows over, who aren't doing anything, who aren't learning new skills, who aren't trying to pivot, who will get JobKeeper, and that's perfectly fine, but who aren't doing anything at all, and waiting for it to come up again, which of course it will, and that is one strategy. But my strong recommendation is to either pivot if you can. I understand that not everyone can, and you may only pivot a bit, or you can pivot a lot, but if you can't, then to still invest the time in the business, either in your infrastructure or in your personal learning, and not just sit around and wait for it to blow over. Yeah,
absolutely. This is a time for building your fortitude. So as Valerie said, it could be, this is the time to skill up. This is the time to take that online course, to learn to be a better writer, to learn to be a better whatever it is, or to build that audience, as we've said in the last couple of episodes of the show. A pivot can be a tiny move, even just a communication. We have found just saying we are here is a pivot. Yeah, great. Yep. And Liz is saying in Broome, our restaurants and cafes all do takeaway. They have really stepped up. Yeah, some of these people are never going to go back. And this is what I love. It's like they're building their capacity as businesses, just like we're right now building our capacity as business owners, because some of us have been offline. Now we're doing online yoga classes, or we had a physical, we used to do, I was talking about a friend of mine who's actually going to be a guest here on the show in a couple of weeks, who's in Spain, who usually travels to the UK to work with corporates, and she works on sort of change management and high-level team development, and now she can't travel. And so she's actually working on mindset and mental health with those same organizations, because that's what's important for those organizations right now. Their staff are suffering. Along the lines of Curability Club, but a little bit different. PJ has a subscription to the Belvoir Street Theatre, which is a a smaller theatre company here in Sydney, but they do some amazing, amazing shows. And so he has a subscription, and of course, none of the shows are running. And so they sent out this email that said, we're happy to give you your money back, or you can donate your money to an actors fund to help these now out of work actors. So he decided to donate his tickets to the actors. And so the other day he got a voicemail message from a woman who was an actor from the, I don't know the right word. If Stella was here, she would tell us, of the cast of Belvoir Street. And she said, "Hi, my name is Anne. I'm one of the actors from Belvoir Street Theatre. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your donation of the ticket price to the Actors Fund. I was in the show XYZ that you saw just a few weeks ago." So they know his history of what shows he's been to. And thank you for your support of the actors. But it was a personal phone call. So these out-of-work actors are getting on the phone and they're calling the subscribers. And I thought, that is awesome. PJ felt great. He sent it on to me. He said, "How cool is this?" And so he felt better about his decision about making the donation. They felt grateful, obviously, and it was just a sincere, beautiful example of them sharing something that was very timely that had happened to them, and really acknowledging that. So I wanted to share that. Felicity says, "I'm offering home delivery hats." So Felicity's a milliner. You can see they're wearing one of her hats as one of her pivots. And our partner says, "I have seen many of my small business clients who've pivoted down well, especially the cafes and pubs who have shown that initiative." Yeah. And Lynn says, "We have a fabulous cafe in town, Stella's Bistro. They had to close down when the restrictions first came in, and they tried takeaway but did not get enough support, but have been working in the background and are about to reopen. Win for all of us, waiting to see what they've come up with." So one of the things that I think, again, it causes us to create a different business. These cafes who don't have an email list, so the cafes and the restaurants who've emailed me to say, "Hey, we're open, we're doing takeout," I have bought from all of them. We just said, okay, Friday night is our support a local restaurant. We're going to go do that. You know, on the weekend we bought from the Gin Lane. So I am all in there. If you're a cafe or restaurant that isn't collecting details, but this is a lesson for all of us, you want to be able to contact your customers any which way, anytime. And while you can rely on Facebook, etc., you want to have your own ways, your website, your email list. So important to be able to reach out to clients. Messages. Lynn says, "We have a local business, Barrington Boxes, that does a weekly delivery of farm fresh vegetables." Great. Run their feet at the moment. Not a pivot, but a success story. Yeah, great. And Amanda's saying, "Restaurants with a local Facebook presence are doing well here too." Yeah, great. And Mary says, "I've made masks for a niche medical reception staff as a pivot."
Oh,
that's fantastic. Mary, you must put that inside our member group. There might be people who want to order. Yeah, great. There's an organisation called Corbin and Blair. Are you familiar with Corbin and Blair? Yeah. So they do beautiful frames, journals, leather products, really great. So they have done something that's really kind of strange, but it made me smile. So they've created these Zoom backgrounds. So you know how Zoom backgrounds, like you can get videos of the ocean or whatever. Yeah. So they created these Zoom backgrounds that are these, it would look like you're in your home and you have these different picture frames behind you with different artwork. And they're making these available as downloads so that you can add them as your Zoom backgrounds, which means you've got all these interesting backgrounds of really interesting artwork. So I'm going to put the link here for you. It's absolutely free. They've made them available. There's about 8 different ones, and you just download the image and then you upload it into Zoom as your background, and it looks like you've got this gorgeous artwork.
Fantastic. What a great idea.
Which is so much fun. And Bianca says she loves Corbin and Blair. Hey, Bianca, great to see you here. Great to see you here. All righty. We're going to start to wrap up for tonight. Valerie, I have loved having you here on the show. What would you like to leave us with?
I've loved being here. What would I like to leave you with? I think drink wine, everybody, or whatever beverage that you have at the moment. Make the most of the time that you do have, and stay positive, because I do believe that we will all come out the other side in a better position.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and being my guest. I love everything you said about the customer stories. Again, this is a time where if you have extra time, which I don't know, who doesn't have extra time right now? Because I'm one of those people, I don't have any extra time. The only difference is on weekends I have extra time because I'm not visiting people. But I have no extra time at the moment. But if you do have extra time, is to I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway. Who supplies those backgrounds? Corbin and Blair. I've put the link up here above. And Amanda says, I've shared the Corbin and Blair link to my contacts. Such a great idea from a fabulous values-based company. Yeah. And Mickey says, oh, my God, a fantastic night. Thank you. Well, thank you so much as well. I want to say it's been great being here. I'm feeling really hot and sweaty under these lights. I have these couple of lights here that are lighting me up because it's absolutely dark, and I've just got this like overhead light here in my kitchen. So I'm burning up. And so I'm grateful for my glass of wine. Valerie, you're a rock star. Thank you so much for the value you bring. Every time I have the opportunity to speak with you, whether it's privately or here with our community tonight on Women, Words and Wine, I want to say thank you so much for being here. And to everybody watching, thank you so much for being here. I've loved seeing your comments. You're awesome. Bye for now. We'll see you next week.
With everyone.
Yeah, great to connect with them. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Helen says, thank you for another great Wednesday night. You're very welcome. Bye for now. Cheers to you, girlfriend. Cheers to you.